Allow the children
it's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay.
She
off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego political, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego die the political, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the mass.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo do.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number one.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo do.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number one.
Mayegun ti de o, ọ̀rẹ́ aráyé.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number one.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Mayegun today.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number one.
Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number one.
Read the caption of the broadcast, the description of the broadcast as well. I mean, share it if you haven't already.
Mayegun diary, Naheebah number
one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Thank you, thank you.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
My name is Nnamdi Kanu, and the reason why we're here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children, and men for that matter, all over Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not happy, we are not pleased with what is happening, and that is why we are here today. As you can see, there are a lot of Nigerians who are protesting about the killing of families, people who are determined to tear the country apart violently, and it is not something that we support. It is not something that we would like to see continue, and we are here today to send a clear message to the Nigerian government through the High Commissioner that what is happening in the country is unacceptable and we cannot accept it. If that continues, it will lead to the violent disintegration of the country. There will be no more Nigeria for anyone to go to. There will be no Nigeria for anyone to refer to. In fact, what is happening in Somalia today will be like a tea party. So we cannot allow this nonsense to continue. Something has to be done. And the consequences of the actions of terrorism in Nigeria must be driven home to the people, so that even the terrorists themselves will be able to understand that there is no mileage in where they're going. The only thing they can accomplish is the breakup of Nigeria. If they think that they can cower people, if they think they can force people to be coerced into a religion which is not theirs, then they are clearly mistaken. We are asking for peace. We are asking for people to get together. We are asking for everybody who loves Nigeria, who is associated with that country, to please prevail upon terrorism in Nigeria so we can bring it to an end. That is why a multitude of Nigerians are gathered here today. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the Council Committee for peace. But one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
They considered killing Nnamdi Kanu extrajudiciously, but they believe kidnapping him was a favor. That was Femi Oponu Adesina's book. I haven't read it. I won't read it. But there must be so many other confessions therein. This particular one pointed to all the crimes against humanity committed under the Bokohari's government, state-sponsored terrorism in eastern Nigeria. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and then a good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. Again, this is Mayegun Live. Thank you very much for joining me to start with. And for those of you who probably have heard or seen this before now, you are welcome to us, discussing it. You remember that they usually said Nnamdi Kanu was just a noisemaker from the early stage, right? And then at some point, they could no longer take it. But from the whitewashing, worthless book that Femi Oponu Adesina published recently, there is something about IPOB also stated there. In fact, Femi Oponu Adesina confirmed that Nnamdi Kanu was a real problem for not just for Bokohari, but for everyone around him, to the point that they considered killing him. Let's kill him. They used the military. Somehow that failed. Then they initiated international, sort of a worldwide assassination hunt of Nnamdi Kanu. Then he said at a point, they felt like, let's just kidnap him and keep him. Maybe that would discourage all these young Igbos to continue to demand for Biafra. Baba, they hatched an operation and a plan inside the asshole rock under Bokohari to kill Nnamdi Kanu. And why? I'll tell you. You know, a lot of Igbos today, in particular, and Nigerians in general, through the Nnamdi Kanu's broadcasts, the ones that they pretended that they were not listening to, until we realized that the establishment actually wanted him dead and anyone associated with him killed or jailed. Initially, when it was like it started, majority of the Igbos today that are now more interested in their position in Nigeria, and upon discovering that there is already ongoing Cold War, unwritten Cold War, that Cold War, right, that is putting a target on every person that is an Igbo, even if you were across across the Niger, even if you are not Igbo. There is this unwritten Cold War after the end of the genocidal war of 1963 to 1970. Nnamdi Kanu made so many Igbos themselves to realize that, wow, we never saw it that way. They started questioning their position in Nigeria. And every time they attempted it, they met a brick wall that started making sense to them that this is a systemic profiling. It is there in the system. Nobody can explain it. They can give you different excuses. So why they hate the Igbos, why the Igbos must be this, why the Igbos must be that, because it is systemic. A lot of Igbos discovered that, and they felt, they started kind of realizing that they are better off without Nigeria. A lot of them felt so heartbroken, like, while others felt like Nnamdi Kanu was misleading the young people and it could lead to another war. Igbos, so this is not like outsiders now. I'm talking about Igbos who felt personally at the early stage that Nnamdi Kanu's messages will only get the Igbos, especially the young ones, angrier at Nigeria. And the more angrier they get, there is likelihood that they are going to pick up arms and decide that they want to leave Nigeria. And in fact, complete what their own parents couldn't do or complete at the time. So there are Igbos who feared that. So therefore, they automatically became enemies of Nnamdi Kanu and anything like POB. They called them different names. And these were the willing tools in the hands of the likes of Bokohari to stage the state-sponsored terrorism of 8 solid years in eastern Nigeria that still continues to today. Thousands of young people have been killed. A lot have disappeared. Many are in jail as we speak right now under bogus, scrupulous charges. Systemic profiling. So it worked for a while. And then Bokohari started failing. Bokohari's jihadism, tribalism, bigotry, they started manifesting. It became so obvious that it wasn't hard for Nnamdi Kanu's message and messages to travel far and beyond. Surprisingly, that was just a few months after Bokohari took government that they felt offended. By December 2015, Bokohari's government kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu in Lagos. They were now looking for what to charge him with. Terrorism, sedition. They shall found all kinds of things they could charge him with. Eventually, none of them could stick. But they got a good reason to now mobilize the Nigeria military, DSS, and other murderous agents in uniform to eastern Nigeria. Not just that, across Nigeria, Igbo businesses continue to take serious economic policies, harsh economic policies that continue to destroy and affect their business. This is like systemic. Every time that Nnamdi Kanu turned his camera on, more and more unbelievers, they were tuning in. They just wanted to understand Nigeria. And that was how his messages traveled even beyond Igbo land. Beyond. And that was the real threat they didn't tell you. Apart from finding an excuse of killing the Igbos, using Nnamdi Kanu's messages and positions as an excuse, they were worried that if the way this guy was going, it won't just be the Igbos that are going to turn out rebellious. Young people in Nigeria, they started tuning in, listening to understand what was really wrong with Nigeria. A lot of them were so surprised that did that really happen? Are you serious? Did that happen? I never knew that. Oh, I was never told that in school. As old as I am, I didn't know that. This was about 8 years ago. Prior to that, 4 years before that, 12 years ago, is already been sort of, encouraging all these young people, even beyond beyond the Igbo land, to see Nigeria for what Nigeria truly was. But what did Bokohari government, what did they do? They spent billions of your money, not just on propaganda, so that if they could spread enough propaganda and lies, and in fact, fear. That failed, though, by the way. You know what I mean? If they could spread enough fear and worry, even Igbos themselves, they will reject Nnamdi Kanu. It partially worked, because I remember when this guy was in the US and he called all the Igbos in the US into a room. And he told them, just like a prophet, he said, the war is coming. It's a jihad. They will come for us. It's to take our lands. Our people are going to be killed. And the government of Nigeria will watch them. Everybody will be asking, government, There will be no government. You will be watching them kill you. This was like impossible. Something that, especially for Southerners, the Igbos, it was impossible. What are you talking about? How could Fulani come to Igbo land? We don't even have anything to, it's never going to happen. 10 years ago, before Bokohari, the terrorists, and the rest of them. 8 years ago, rather. Do you know that by the time the Fulani terrorism that people didn't kind of see coming, I believe, but this guy saw it coming. He was mentioning Fulani armed terrorists. Fulani armed terrorists. How could you call Fulani terrorists? They are just herdsmen. What is wrong with this guy? He just want to create enmity between the people and the Fulanis. What is wrong with this Nnamdi Kanu? These guys are just with their cows. They don't make trouble. Omo. The same thing that is giving many of you, the same Fulani terrorists that have now sent thousands to their early graves. The same Fulani terrorists that have kidnapped thousands, collected billions in ransom. 8 years ago, Nnamdi Kanu was like a madman saying something that was totally impossible. He was in America. He said, we need to raise money and mobilize our people so that they will be ready. We need to buy them weapons. They thought he was preparing for war. for asking for referendum. It worked, though. I'm not saying it didn't work, oh. But I am just kind of telling you how the system, with their own agenda, played a lot of you only for everybody to end up in this state today. Everybody is now asking, how can we need to defend ourselves? People need to defend themselves. A lot of you 8 years ago called Nnamdi Kanu a madman. Their propaganda worked on you for some time. Today, you are now asking them to allow you to carry gun. That was what he went to America to do. The Igbos in America, at the time, the owned Igbos, majority of them just felt, they said it to his face. Have you thought this through? I mean, our people need peace. We don't want anything that's going to put our people in problem. They nearly blamed him for calling for war. Today, they are his biggest disciples today. The Igbos in America. No joke. And that was the moment the asshole rock started crumbling. Nnamdi Kanu was not just talking about Biafra. He was telling people why it is a necessity for everybody to go their separate ways. Because what was coming with the belief and conviction of an average Fulani from all over the world. That's it. They said they believe traditionally or culturally or historically, whatever, they said by conquest. Uthman Dan Fodio is the owner of the place called Nigeria today. Whether it is Biafra land, whether it is Yoruba land, whether Naheebah land, even all this, you know what I mean? Like, there are people who believe that. You will probably feel like that's impossible. They are mad. Oh, really? Of course they are mad. And their madness, is an ideology that says they must kill you if you resist. And the likes of Femi Oponu Adesina, they were in on it. He was also gaslighting the citizens at the time. When these Fulani terrorists were unleashed on us, when our people started going missing, and our people started, ending up dead. Fulani this, Fulani that. What's going on? The likes of Femi Oponu Adesina told us that why are we so interested in our lands, that we decide that we are not going to part the land when we can part the land and have peace. That's what Femi Oponu Adesina said. To have peace, so part with your land. And I just never, probably in my own wildest imagination, would believe that they also wanted him dead. They played the card so well that they gave him an offer. They gave him a last chance. And that was when Bokohari and his gang met with the Igbo governors, Igbo lawmakers, Igbo elites, and they said they would talk to Nnamdi Kanu. He will drop all of this agitation thing. And they called him to a meeting. I've shared that with you here before, right? They called him to a meeting in Enugu. At the meeting, Nnamdi Kanu was asking for the leadership, Igbo political leadership in Nigeria, to look at the position of Igbos in Nigeria today and see what they have done to fail generations. And he asked them for just 11 things. And guess what are those things? Keep our people safe. Homegrown, developed security system. Provide stable electricity for our people. Do it. Not because Nigeria won't do it. Create industries where our youth, our young people will be gainfully employed and engaged. At least invest in real, true people's-oriented infrastructures in Igbo land that add values to the lives of our people and attract real investment to our region. He asked them that. He listed all of the things that he wanted them to do if they indeed wanted them to slow down on the Biafra agitation, including asking all the lawmakers in Eastern Nigeria, all of them, including their governors, House of Assembly members, political elite, and the rest of them, to prevail upon their National Assembly members to make a move and move a motion for a referendum to be part of that trashy Decree 24 you called 1999 Constitution. I think that was the moment they felt like this guy has to be eliminated. Igbo governors, Igbo political leaders, Devulumayi was one of them. They saw the danger. They saw his request. This guy was not asking for money. You don't want oil block. You don't. I mean, we could put you on. So you know what? The kind of deal we did with the Niger Delta militant. We could do that for you in a special way. That, you know what I mean? Like, just walk away. So you don't want all of that. What will make you reduce the call for the immediate breakup of Nigeria and Biafra to go right now is if we do all of these things, right? Yes, if you do all of that. We don't have any plan of doing all of this, so there's no plan. So they reported back to Abuja. And I think that was, like I said, that was the last chance they gave him, because they released him on bail, gave him some stringent conditions that he started violating immediately. It was like, I'm not going to obey all this nonsense. And he didn't. But nevertheless, they offered him something that he didn't take. So, and they didn't have what he wanted. So the next move is to eliminate him. And that was the first assassination attempt on his life. Nnamdi Kanu resurfaced about 2 years later. And this time around, he resurfaced with a banger. The one that finally got under the skins of Bokohari's handlers. The one that continued till tomorrow. That is that Bokohari Abina Jibrin Al Sudani. According to Femi Oponu Adesina, you see that thing that you were all laughing at? Some of you wondering, big nose, small nose, tiny hair, fat hair old, no hair old. All those things that Nnamdi Kanu was, you know, the guy was ferocious. It was like, Baba, Nnamdi Kanu's microphone, like Prince Jejeman would say, was bigger than a Tukano, Baba. The guy was everywhere. He was matching them propaganda for propaganda. And guess what? He amassed so much followership, so large, so huge, that Nigeria had to spend billions to match him. As he was talking, he will be putting out images. He will be putting out videos. He will be putting out images. He will be, things that got so much that world leaders also started seeing it too. And according to Femi Oponu Adesina, that singular thing that Bokohari is not the old Buhari. This Bokohari is Jibrin from Sudan. And at a point, they were using a clone. And it's actually a clone. Bokohari died. According to Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu said, Buhari died in 2017 and he was buried in Saudi Arabia. And if they believe that he is lying, as ridiculous as that might sound to a lot of you, he said, if this Buhari is ready to submit himself for a DNA test, they will take the DNA of his children. They will now take this Buhari's DNA. that if they match, Nnamdi Kanu will submit himself for any kind of a prosecution and he will stop talking about Biafra. But this guy said that too. Omo. Nobody wanted Buhari to do DNA. But a lot of you were laughing about it, laughing and saying, ha, 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 yeah, funny, ha, ha. Buhari was facing hell all over the world. They said, according to Femi Oponu Adesina, they said, every time Buhari appear anywhere, when they meet world leaders, some of them, apart from the fact that they were very careful in actually discussing some, like important bilateral, security stuff with this man. But they said every time Buhari walk into a room, everybody in that room, they will just be looking at him like this. Like that. To the point that it became so embarrassing that a few times some world leaders, they will get closer to him. They will hold him. They will hold him. Like they want to touch if he is real or if he's a clone. And every now and then, this started depressing Buhari. This Buhari, he started having depression. Now the president of Nigeria is having depression because now he has to tell everybody, it's me. I am Buhari. I am real. Don't listen to that boy. Don't listen to that Nnamdi Kanu. So the solution was, what should we do? I think we should eliminate him. Assassinating. Government of Nigeria planning to assassinate a citizen because of his own political ideology. Femi Oponu Adesina put it in his book. The same Femi Oponu Adesina, in that same useless book, he also said, when Bokohari fell sick, they used air ambulance to airlift Bokohari to London. He said, on many occasions, that even when they were discharged from the hospital, they said Bokohari would have no idea who he was or where he was. Do you understand? He said Bokohari's recovery was actually a miracle. If anyone who really doesn't believe there is a miracle, Bokohari's recovery was a miracle. It was a vegetable, just exactly as Nnamdi Kanu was reporting day by day. They should release that man. A lot of you have no idea what you are missing or what you have missed. You know what I mean? His words, they were like blades. A lot of people hated him just because of the way he talks. Not because of what he says. If what he says are true or they are lies, if they are facts or they are not, they are not after that. They just don't like the way he talks. Because when Nnamdi Kanu talks, sometimes you feel like he's talking to you directly, like it's you, go. And you know where he will call you? See you, mumu, idiot, foolish man, foolish you, foolish. You go there, agree, say, yes, I've been very foolish. It was very powerful. His words were powerful. They were like blades in the heart of a lot of people who despised him. Ask them, why do you not like Nnamdi Kanu? I just don't like him just because of the way he was attacking churches. He's attacking Yoruba. He's a bigot. He's always there attacking all the Yorubas. He's always blaming Yorubas or blaming Hausas or blaming No. He was blaming your leaders. And those of you who are their enablers. There is no difference today. So if I call your criminal leaders criminals, and you jump there, and you say, stop insulting our leaders. And I'm like, who are you? You say, why are you insulting the Igbo leaders? Oh, you are one of their supporters and enablers, Abi. You are angry. that the criminals in your own tribe or your own ethnic nationality in Nigeria is mentioned, you're angry. Oh dear. Oh, you are sad because your pastors, your fake pastorpreneurs, and their business centers, they were focused on because they are Yorubas. Oh, because they are Igbos. Oh, because they are Hausas. Come on, man. Go outside and touch the grass. When you look at those who destroyed Nigeria today, you will see them from every ethnic nationalities. The same way he called out all your criminal leaders. He's insulted Tinubu. Abulori Brukuniani. I insult Tinubu all the time. It's not even an insult. It's just stating the facts. Abi? Hopeless Uzodingba, Uzodijo is from Igbo land. I talk about him all the time. Probably you laugh. And when I talk about the jihadist terrorist sympathizers from northern Nigeria, I am talking about your leaders. If you begin to defend them, then you are a terrorist. So when I talk about your criminal pastors, Abina Imamu, and all those religious criminals who are manipulating you, brainwashing you, all to kind of control you for the bigger ones, the ones that are the politicians. When I talk about them, why did you not take offense? And say, why is this Yoruba boy always abusing our Igbo leaders? Why did you not take offense? Because back then, it was easier for the rogues and their propagandas to get to you until a lot of you realized that you are all victims. All of us. That was Nnamdi Kanu's message. He's always attacking Yorubas. He's also attacking the Igbos too. Yeah. And he's addressing those of you who are comfortable with the status quo, the comfortable slaves. And he knows it's everywhere. I don't like him. It's going to make people not to like Igbos. No. Just say you don't. And you are part of the people who are working on their own deliverance too. Bokohari was cloned. No, he wasn't cloned. Why would that get you so mad that you have to sit in the seat of power of a country? The supposed giant of Africa, biggest black nation on earth, and all other blah, blah, blah nonsense they have told you. How and why would you saying if indeed Bokohari was not cloned, there is nothing being hidden, there is nothing to hide you, why would the people in the seat of power sit together and plot the assassination of a citizen who has a different political ideology to yours? It's because they knew they could do it. And they just came out to confirm all the things you've heard. The state-sponsored killings, the politically sponsored unknown gunmen, the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu was not because he did anything wrong. It was because he said something that made them so uncomfortable that they would have killed him. But they decided to kidnap him and keep him as a trophy. In the process, violating the international laws. That Nigeria is a signatory to those treaties. They violated those. They didn't care. Then they went back to their country and they rubbished their judicial system. Rubbished everything. All because of one man, Jibrin Al Sudani. And there is offer on the table. If I am lying, please, I am ready to face the consequences of my lie. Ask that man to come for a DNA test, if indeed he is the Bokohari. They never did that. And in fact, when they were charging him, after kidnapping him, they removed that part completely. It was nothing like he called Nigeria president clone. He called Nigeria this, that. There was no charges against Nnamdi Kanu concerning the cloned Bokohari, because they said if they had included that in their charges against Nnamdi Kanu, that would have defeated the whole nonsense they put together, because his lawyers were going to ask that how would these people know that this Buhari is the Buhari, except the fact that everybody says it is Buhari. How can we know he is the Buhari? How can you convict somebody, say he lied, he defamed somebody, when you cannot confirm this is the person? Now let us do a DNA. Just tell Bokohari to open his mouth. 3 times. The result will be ready in few hours. That's all. Nnamdi Kanu said, I would submit myself for any sort of a prosecution, okay? And I will opt out completely from the Biafra agitation. They didn't charge him for that. Nnamdi Kanu got into their skins. Aisha Bokohari, the Ashishe Bokohari, was said to be so mad. She was madding raving the day that Nnamdi Kanu said Aisha Bokohari is committing a sin, haram, sleeping with somebody that is not her husband. They said that in enter Aisha so much. You remember that Aisha relocated finally from Aso Rock. Even though they said they no longer sleep in the same room, they no longer sleep together the moment Bokohari came back from that London, looking like a missing, deranged, demented old hag like that. I don't know if you remember that, right? Since then, Aisha never kind of sleep in the same room with him anymore. At a point, Aisha was almost killed inside the Aso Rock. Well, they shot guns because she won't obey the COVID quarantine rules inside the Aso Rock, which means at the time she even came out to say, where are the men in Nigeria? Where just few men, Maman Daura and few others are ruling Nigeria because Bokohari probably is no longer present. I remember that time. All of this, every time Nnamdi Kanu release something, a day or 2 or 3 later, alarm go blow inside the Aso Rock. Wahala go shele. You go begin to see them walking over time. They now decided, I'm gonna kill this guy. Anywhere where you see him. Imagine sending an assassin after you, going after you all over the world, looking for a time and a perfect place where they can kill you. That was exactly what the life of Nnamdi Kanu was, that a lot of us didn't know until this Femi Oponu Adesina book, where they confessed to plotting to kill a citizen because the president was uncomfortable and he was depressed. Yeah, that happened. That's what Femi Oponu Adesina said. He also said in that bogus book, he said, Bokohari is not a mean man. He's a very nice man. In fact, when Pastor Ruga's chopper crashed in Kogi and Bokohari heard the news, he shouted, Jesus! That's exactly how Femi Oponu Adesina Alagbafo. That's exactly what he wrote in that trash. In all of this, apart from the covert and coordinated operation to kill the Igbos, Operation Python Dance 1, Python Dance 2, Python Dance 3, and so many other operations that led to the death and killing, extrajudicial killing of civilians. There is still no record of that. There is no investigation of that because it is still ongoing. Baba, they were bombing villages in Igbo land. It was sanctioned in Abuja that Nigerian fighter jets flew from Abuja straight to Igbo land, Olu, Osu, and some other places. They were dropping bombs on villagers because of this Nnamdi Kanu. On villagers. So I didn't know that the horrible jihadist was also a very nice man, because when Pastor Ruga, his deputy, is a special advisor on condolences visit, burial arrangement, as well as trader money and market money. Pastor Ruga Ikene Shatabandu, the Agboworin Baba Oja, Oshunbade, they said when his shopper crashed in Kogi, where he was there to share money, the shopper crashed, and when Bokohari heard the news, according to Femi Oponu Adesina, he screamed, Jesus! That makes him a very nice person. Man, he said a lot of things though, but this particular one and particular confession, you remember when I told you that Tifnubu should not inherit Bokohari's enemies. Now Bokohari gets depression, can't decide to go and kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. He did not kidnap Nnamdi Kanu because Nnamdi Kanu committed any crime. No. He kidnapped him because Nnamdi Kanu told the world something that the world should never know. And he deserved to die. But to favor him, let's just kidnap him and keep him away. Tell your children that. And whatever your position has been, I am not trying to change your position on things, because their propaganda on you runs deep. Today, there are so many of you that are having conflicting mind. If you are to no longer believe everything they told you about IPOB, or maybe not some of them, you are now kind of twisted inside. I know they spend so much that they paid lobbyists over $1 million in America to lobby the American Congress, American government to help them proscribe IPOB as a terrorist organization, so that would then give them the green light to kill and kill and kill as many Igbos as possible. And that would be under the fact that America would not, America would have sanctioned it. But that was when I saw the statement of accounts of the IPOB worldwide. Nnamdi Kanu could have been a multi-billionaire. I swear. People who became his disciples and Biafran, campaigner and adherent today, they never used to like him. But Nigeria helped him to prove him right to them. Over 180 countries with the presence of the IPOB. And IPOB cannot be a terrorist organization that the government across the world will allow them to exist, meet, and even participate in the activities of their, resident countries if they're a terrorist organization. That's when I saw their statement of account. IPOB was countering Nigeria in the area of trying to water down whatever lies that Bokohari's government cooked, gave to lobbyists in America to blacklist IPOB, so as for the Nigerian government to now kill them, and with so much impunity and reckless abandon. I saw where IPOB paid lobbyists in America over $1.5 million or more move back. No joke. And that is why when some people say, I'm not in their shoes and I may never understand them a lot, but somehow, because I have been following the activities of the IPOB for at least 10 straight years. So I am an expert when it comes to their journey so far and wherever, at what point they are today. Do you understand? This guy is sitting on a global movement, an empire, that a lot of people who have sat, analyzed Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, and all of their spread all over the world, their coordination and everything, a lot of people who have studied them, and they kind of could imagine the type of power and influence that Nnamdi Kanu commands. They were scared that they hope he will never realize the kind of influence he commands. And if he can be better, either be bought or tamed. Early now, the better for Nigeria. If this guy should indeed put to use the influence he actually commands on Nigeria, Baba, no joke. Everybody go see him, everybody go feel him. I'm not kidding. But somehow, he wasn't a violent person. Like, he wasn't. He was a calculative person. He knew the journey he was, the path he was taking the people was a path that when the time arrives, they will be so good enough, knowledgeable enough, intelligent enough to lead themselves out of Nigeria with or without him. While others were thinking he was probably going to just give an order that all the Igbo governors should be terminated. All the political leaders should be, because he had that much influence. And it wasn't just online. You remember this our favorite song? This was one of their meetings in Igbo land, where Nnamdi Kanu, even after the military killings and attacks and kidnappings and all of that in Igbo land, they were still resolute.
Onye du aịbọ, o meriwo n'izu, onye ya abakare, mama dawora, una bori meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una bori meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una bori meri Nnamdi bu onye du aịbọ, o meriwo n'izu, mbiro ya abakare, mama ndawora, una bori meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una bori meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una bori meri Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una bori meri Nnamdi.
That's much of his influence. It wasn't just online. So when some people tell you that Nnamdi Kanu is like a savior, somebody who happened to be like an umbrella that is sort of shielding a lot of Igbos in and outside Nigeria from the true intention of the ruiners of Nigeria towards you. So a lot of people believe that for his time, that he came during the right time to alert the Igbos, to be aware of what is going on around them, not just to be conscious of it, to also be prepared and be ready to stand up and stand firm when those things could no longer be hidden anymore, that they will come face to face and face you. You would have to drop all pretenses. You would have to drop all cowardices, right? You would have to stand up and say, yes, I am Igbo and I'm proud. He made them be like that. Be like that. And he was never kind of interested in anything flamboyant, anything personal. I mean, he could have been a billionaire if it was for people of today and all that. They could have made a lot of money. People were ready to give him their money. The same money he asked for about 10 years ago in America, they were giving them now that they can see. So they wanted him dead. And today is locked up. And on the 15th of December, the Supreme Court said the withdrawal of his bail application was wrong. So which means he shouldn't be in any detention, should be free and walking free right now. Even if they still have any case against him, that they should go and try that. However, they've not obeyed it because the same Supreme Court hasn't even forwarded the case back to the appeal court or whatever. It is the system. Now, we can tell that Tifnubu has inherited Bokohari's supposed an imaginary enemy. Okay? And this might be a clarion call on all of us to remind us that, see, Bokohari's terrorist regime could have failed in killing Nnamdi Kanu or changing their mind that they just, I don't want you to feel relaxed for any reason that Tifnubu's government may not want to kill him. Sure, you understand now? So if their system continue to hold him, and there are many ways you can kill a man, denying him his health check, access to his own medical doctors or medical personnel, denying him his praying time, torturing him, and so many other things like that they could do to worsen his health and all of that. So if anything happened to Nnamdi Kanu now, it won't be Buhari. No. It's going to be Tifnubu. And I hope a lot of us are going to be really prepared for the backlash of that. Now, that would take me to Abuja again. Okay? But this.
How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Ah! Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo. Not be juju be that. Sorry, oh. May God not allow them, make them kill you.
Nigeria is not for anybody. Even though that clown, Asari Dokupig, right? Himself, a traitor, a betrayer. And it's unfortunate. And that's what Nigeria kind of represents in anyway. So yeah. But let's go to Abuja. Baba, you see that story of the girls kidnapped in Abuja? The Naheebahs, the Najeebahs, and all of that, right? They killed Naheebah, but they freed Najeebah and the other girls. And they are back home. Their father, who spoke with the Arise News, by the way, yesterday, shared this experience. And according to him, they are kidnappers. They are Fulani terrorists who speaks Hausa and Yoruba, at least to him, while they were kidnapping them. He relayed the scenario, and I'm glad that you are here today. This is also the legacy of Bokohari of 8 years in Nigeria. The one that Femi Oponu Adesina is doing his best to whitewash. Is not going to happen. Now, listen to this. So, this victim is a Yoruba after all. This family, they are Yoruba after all. So, they said the consequences of bad leadership is like a stray bullet. It doesn't discriminate, and it can hit just everyone, anytime, any day. And in this case, when Nigeria is happening to people, it also doesn't discriminate. Everyone knows what Nigeria has taken from them. But for this family, they took the life of a girl, innocent girl, a supposed civil servant who worked in Abuja. And from what we heard, he just moved to this new property. And then the terrorists came. He thought they were armed robbers. He lost his daughter. He lost his brother. And at the end of the day, he paid ransom. Baba, Mo go listen to the Naheebah's father. And I probably, if you haven't seen this video, I am going to warn you ahead to kind of, it might be a little bit emotionally kind of, engaging, right? So please be prepared. This is the father of the 4 girls that were later released after the payment of 100 million naira ransom. The story.
7 o'clock from town. and moving straight to observe my evening prayer, that is the Maghrib prayer. And thereafter, I think I sat down at the sitting room there just for me to relax. Then thereafter, I observed my Isha prayer. After observing the Isha prayer, I was not feeling too okay for me to take my dinner, so I was feeling very weak that day. I now asked my daughter to prepare a small pap for me. So thereafter, I took the pap. I couldn't even take it. So I went in straight to the bedroom. I was just relaxing, pressing my phone. I was telling my wife, I'm not strong. I don't know what is happening. Then my mood is not okay. So after some time, I dozed off. So the next thing I heard around, the noise was just coming. I said, who is banging the gates? And I asked them, because my children were in their various rooms. I was like, who is banging the gates? Who is knocking? This one is not knocking, they are banging it. They said, they don't know. I stood up. And I came out. It's an uncompleted building anyway. I just fixed about 3 rooms there just for us to move in. We're moving not up to 2 months now. And so I came out. I went straight to the sitting room, the main sitting room of which we're still working on, to check. I peep from the window and I sight one man standing by the main gate. Just from there I noticed this armed robbers then. So I haven't sight then. I've already made up my mind as well. If they have come, there's no problem. And I notify my wife that it's like they're armed robbers, so it's like they have come. So I went straight into my bedroom. My children too have already locked up their rooms, in their various rooms. I went in straight to my room, switched off the lights. My wife rushed to the bedroom, we switched off the lights. I picked my phone, trying to see who I call, neighbors around. My memory was like, whom do I call? I was confused. But along the line, when I reorganized myself, I was able to pick myself up and say, let me call my brother. And I called my brother. And I said, Abdul Fattah, where are you? I said, there's problem. We are being attacked now. I'm robbers, thief, like that. Within 15 minutes, I called back. He said, bros, I'm close to you. I said, okay. So I was a bit relaxed. The guys have already sighted them by the window. They've pulled the window, they've break the glass. I knew they were in full force. There's nothing I could do that for me to surrender myself to them. And I asked, I said, Kai, what is it that you need? Whatever you need, come in. I came out, opened the door. One got me and asked me, Inagudi. I look at him, I don't have money. But if you see anything here that is good for you, pack it at a Pideshi. He look at me. He search everywhere. I notice they were looking for money, checking some things like that, of which they picked the things that they thought probably they could go with. I was just looking at him. Coincidentally, I think there was one rope that I used inside the compound at the back there. He picked the rope from my room. The next thing I saw him coming out was to tie me with that rope. I knew, well, I'm the suspect. I gave up. I said, okay, let's go. He now marched me out from my room to the balcony in my room, and then my children too. They've already break the door. They've used this long jigger in my compound. They picked the jigger from my compound. They break the door. They've get their entrance to my children's room, march them out like that. I saw my children, myself. I said, okay, let's go. Their intention was to lead us out of that community to the main road that goes to Veritas. So I was having the confidence that at least between that time, is that the police will come or the other security people will come that will make them to leave us and run away. When I noticed my brother was driving in, I was happy. He was the one that actually lead the police to my community. So when I sighted this guy, I said, Kai, this guy, as at that time, they had already positioned themselves again. When they said that they were coming, they didn't know who was coming, but they saw the police light on. So they knew quite all right, these guys have come for them. So on seeing that, I said, Kai, there's nothing I could do. And I tell my children, I say, relax yourself. And I say, all of us should lie down. And I tell my children, I say, just go down. Myself too, I hide myself on the floor. Just from then, 3 of them up went to, there's a building not far from the main road. It's fenced. There's a gate there. They went to that building, but 3 of them were trying to gain entrance to that building. I was seeing them using harrow and all sorts of things to break the security lights so that people will not see them from a distance. So they break all the bulbs outside, the security lights outside, trying to climb the gates inside. So it was then they start to exchange bullets. And I saw my brother that he wanted to drive further. So he didn't know that they were close to that house. So the next thing he did was for him to reverse back. Which the reverse that he did, I believe they must have shot him. So the police vehicle too got stopped. So his reverse could not go back. So I now they were all exchanging with themselves. So after a few minutes, both of them stopped. I think the police stopped. They can't advance further. And I said, Kai, they must have injured my brother or injured the police. For the police vehicle not to advance further, meaning that they cannot stand this guy. 7 o'clock.
That's just first part. I mean, the first part of the story. Or you were following, Abby? I know a lot of you were glued there. He couldn't call. There is no emergency police number. There is no emergency estate security number. They were new in the place and they thought they were being attacked by armed robbers. They didn't have much to give. They had no money, but they were all ready to offer whatever is valuable, that is valuable to them in the house. But the terrorists were not interested in whatever they have in the house. It is them. That's why I said it is first part of the story. The first person to call was his brother, to tell his brother, I'm in danger. My family is in danger. We are being attacked by armed robbers. The brother probably quickly jumped in and he was able to convince a truck of policemen, maybe about 4 or so of them. For some reason, they were not anti-armed robbers, like the SARS or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, this is where I saw it. His brother walked straight into the dangerous, deadly trap of the terrorist, and he became the first victim. The exchange of fire, a civilian leading the police. What did that tell you? I mean, what did that tell you? Now you go lead police. Anyway, Sha, FCT Nigeria, there was no a direct police emergency number. At least maybe he didn't know that. Meanwhile, it should have been something so easy. In the UK, it is 999, Abi, emergency. It gets away that if I tap this my phone, in the UK, you see this phone, if it is locked, right, and I tap it in a way that like 3 times, okay, it is going to call the police automatically. That means I'm in danger or something is happening. I don't even have to call the police. So in Nigeria, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, where you have all of your powerful people, with the place where they took a loan of what was that loan again? Yeah, they took a loan of over 400 billion naira for $40 million, I've been an $80 million loan to put CCTV all over Abuja. The project, the money down the drain. But residents in Abuja, living in the Federal Capital Territory, they have no direct emergency number to call to get the police. And once the police, the police are called, they also don't really have any special squad, except the day that you are organizing rally or you are organizing protests. You will now see all of the machines. Like, Nigeria police get all this equipment. I say, yes now. Nigeria police get, they get all this gear. Yes now, they do. How come they use them to stop armed robbers or kidnappers or all these people? These are correct. Why are they not using them? Because they didn't buy them to defend you. They bought them to tame you. Anytime you want to get out of hand, that the way they are treating you, you are not comfortable. You will see them bring out all those things. But when you are under attack in your estates, they will bring one pickup and you will lead them. And then they will be shooting, like Nollywood. And before you know it, that was how they killed his brother. His brother was the first victim. And that was the beginning of their journey, trekking into the deeper jungle in that same Abuja. 6 hours trek. Let's listen to the other part. Legacy of APC. Egbekegbe, the legacy of Bokohari in Nigeria. Here.
Not to advance for the minute.
Do you mind me asking, right? We are over 2,000 as usual on YouTube as we speak, right? And I just want to remind you, okay, if you haven't really liked the broadcast, you can leave the comment section, okay? Let's take the offering to 1,000 or 1,500. Shall we? Please. Thank you.
Not to advance for the meaning that they cannot stand these guys. So thereafter they've been able to recoup themselves and get their strength that they have injured these people. Ask us to stand up, go back to the village, take another route to get out of that place. The ransom, how came about the ransom?
Particularly the demands. Have they made any demands when they contacted you?
I was at their camp when all this ransom of a thing was coming up. That night that we went through the bush, it took us like 8 hours, 30 minutes with my children. I was not wearing any slippers. I was wearing knicker, my sports wear with t-shirt like this. So, as at the time we were going inside that bush, one of them tried to make a friend. I was trying to make friends with one of them. So, Aboki Zona Dala. That one was not trying to, in the sense, I speak Yoruba. So, I was just trying to communicate to me in Yoruba. I was like, come now. What do you need? What do you need? Don't treat me like this, please. What do you need? And I said, Lowo, you have money? You have money. But you low, but you move. Wallo. We're just speaking to Yoruba, I'm just speaking this. And I said, okay. I said, if it's that one, don't worry, I'll get. Yeah. So we got to one stream, it was very deep. He asked us to enter inside the water. My children, all of us, we went inside there, passed through there, climbing one hill like that. Then I said we should stop. And that sense that they started to look for firewood like that. I mean, in short, they prepared their food there that night. Maybe whether they spaghetti or something like that, Sham. Because as at that time they've asked us, myself, they asked me to kneel down. So one of them now came close to where I knelt down and asked me, bros, I mean, Mino Uku? I said, where do you want me to get 3 million? He gave me a slap. Another one came again and gave me another one. Like that. The one with his gun hit me at my back. And I said, okay, no problem. We end that talk. After they take their food, they asked us to relax for like 30 minutes. We now embark on another journey. So another journey, that's maybe second lap. So I'm getting to another. It took us about 3 hours again, if I'm not mistaken. They asked us to stay in one bush, lie us down, that we should sleep. Of course, I enjoyed the sleep. Just maybe 30 minutes like that, inside bush, grass like that. My children too, some of them that carry maybe their night wrapper like that. They managed to cover me with their own. Daddy, come, let's cover you. We did that. So after 30, 40 minutes, they asked us to stand up. We now begin the final lap. So the final lap, for us to get to the main camp, where their camp is, where their leader is, there's a big stream and one big mountain like that to climb. So they asked me to cross with two guys with their rifle following me. The guy that was holding my hand, the rope was still inside. He was controlling me with the rope. So I followed him. And I look back to check my children at the back. I said, Kai, 6 children. Where are they taking me to? I hope they are not going to kill me where they are taking me to. I just saw more courage and asked that guy, I said, oh boy, Nibolanlo, where are you taking me to? He said, bros, Baba, don't worry now. I want to go and meet her. I said, I'm feeling cold. He now asked the guy to give me they picked one duvet from my house that night. So one of them used it to cover himself up. And I said, I'm feeling cold, I'm not okay, I'm not strong. That I'm not strong that night, I'm on medication. He now pleaded with one of his colleagues, said, you should bring that duvet for me to cover myself with. So I used that one. I was going. I didn't see my children coming. I was like, what is happening? And I said, what of my children? He said, Baba, they will come. They will come. What are you doing with my children? He said, Katabi. Just shouting on me. I said, I'm not comfortable. I want to go back. He said, no, you cannot go back. After 30 minutes, I sight my children coming up. So when I sat there, I was happy. And that's why they now assemble us again. So the guy that was telling you I tried to pick as friend was like to lecture me, bros. I'm a Bokohari. Just cooperate with Oga. So that Oga will release you so that you go and look for the ransom. I said, okay. I said, come, but I don't have money. I'm a civil servant. He said, Oga, leave that one. Go and look for the money. I said, I'm a civil servant. I just moved into that house not up to 2 months. My children, I had earlier explained to them that if they see the parlor there, nothing is there. There's just the room that we managed to enter. Not up to 2 months. We have been staying in a rental apartment for long. They asked me to go and sit down, relax, of which I did. After a few minutes, they called me that the leader wants to see me. The leader seeing me was to ask me, Zona, I've seen their stick in their hand. I knelt down in front of the leader asking me all those questions about Negiraya. I said, Lapialo. He said, do I know where I've come to? I said, I know now. Okay, soldier ni? I said, me, I'm not a soldier. It was just to know where I said, I'm just an ordinary civil servant. The house you see me staying there, it's for my brother. He just asked me to come and occupy the place, and it's not yet completed. He said, okay. One came from my back again and use his boots to hit me. He now started to negotiate. He now asked me how much can I offer. I said, I don't have money, but I can look for maybe 2 million to come and give you, or maybe 3 million. That's how we started. He said, I have not talked. I should count my children. I'm talking of 2 million, 3 million. I should be very careful. They now start, I was not saying 10 million, 5 million. I said, where will I get the 5 million? My children, I said, Daddy, don't let them kill us. You should be very careful. I could not to advise.
I mean, I can only imagine as a father, what that moment to feel like for him. And at the end of the day, they kind of told him that we have to pay 100 million. 100 million on each child. Plus himself, it would now be 700 million. Yeah. But they ended up paying 100 million, as we were told. So if you want to watch that full interview, go on to the Arise News on YouTube. You can watch the full interview. I just thought it's ideal to let you see that as part of the Bokohari's legacy that they are trying to whitewash with that nonsense book. I mean, was it not the same Buhari that they told you was coming to fight Boko Haram, but at the end of the day, you were left not just with the Boko Haram ISIL alliance, the ISWAP. You now have all kinds of Fulani terrorists who have territories all over Nigeria as we speak, especially northern Nigeria. So, you remember that Atahiru guy who died, who was appointed the chief of army staff by Bokohari, then sort of died in plane crash and all that, right? Well, there is this someone, Alfie or something, Alif or Alfie or so, who happened to be a member of the team that were supposed to be saddled with responsibility of ending Boko Haram under Bokohari. Then, when they were working to capture, to unmask the sponsor of Boko Haram in Nigeria, including in government. Things took a different turn when they were about to actually unveil the ones they discovered as sponsor of Boko Haram, the verified one right there in their government. The conspiracy twisted, and the hunter became the hunted. Atahiru, that was appointed chief of army staff after Buratai, the butcher, suddenly, they said the soldiers of, at the front, war front, fighting Boko Haram at the time, they were actually making progress, killing and doing all of that stuff. They were working with dependable intel. Then something happened. Atahiru got involved in a plane crash. The plane crash that was ruled as an accident. Somebody said, no, it isn't an accident. In fact, there was no plane crash. According to him, Atahiru and a few others, they were actually thrown out of the flying aircraft, and their bodies burnt, mangled. And that is why they never allowed the media to get closer to the place. You might have seen flame. You might have seen something burning, like, oh, what's that? That must be aircraft. You know what I mean? Like, so he was arrested for it. He was arrested and he was detained for 64 days by Bokohari's government. His report, their investigation, the investigation on who killed Atahiru and what killed him, and all of the cover-up, everything happened. By the time they released the guy, it was useless to them. Whatever information he thought he had were no longer useful. Now, that same guy has written a letter to Tifnumbu Kolu, asking Kolu to investigate that crash, and he was kind of stating few things he knew. I will read some to you. Let me read some of them back to you. Let me see if I can share my screen so that it can look a little bit more like we are all reading it together. It's a segment of, his letter, not probably, you know what I mean? So give me a sec. Now, like I said, Atahiru, yeah? I'll show you his image in case if you have forgotten. It didn't last. This guy. He was appointed as chief of army staff, and they said they were investigating. So now they said that his death is linked to terror financiers, retired generals, Locklin Bell, right? Now let's quote him. For example, he said, Atahiru, let me go quote him. He said, the ill-fated crash involved the Nigerian Air Force NAF plane. It occurred near Kaduna International Airport in bad weather. They said bad weather, right? Not accident or something like mechanical. Anyway, those are the people who died. He said, Atahiru, one of the victims, was on his way to Kaduna to attend a passing out parade for army recruits. The Nigerian army had listed the officers who died in the crash to include Atahiru, Brigadier General M.I. Abdul Kadir, Brigadier General Layinka, Brigadier General Kulia, Brigadier L.A. Ayat, Brigadier Amzat, and Sergeant Umar. Sergeant Umar. So the crew members were Flight Lieutenant Tio Ashani, Flight Lieutenant AA Olufade, Sergeant Adesina, and ACM Oyedepo. So Ali Kefi is the general that said, okay, now here is his quote now, according to him, right? He said, the operation service-wide, a presidential task force, which I was commanding at the time of late General Atahiru's headship of the Nigerian Army, had as its primary mandate to dismantle the terrorism financing network in order to aid the fight against terrorism and insurgency. Late General Atahiru appointed me as GOC 1 Division, 1st Division, while still being the commander of OSW, to enable me effectively discharge the task of OSW. It is important to note that OSW was not just an investigative outfit, but also carried out covert operations to capture or kill insurgent leaders and key fighters in the field, destroy insurgent camps and facilities, as well support the military and other security agencies' operations. Furthermore, having command of 1st Division served as cover for me to carry out the task without attracting unnecessary attention or making people aware of the existence of the outfit. Ali Kefi then explained, he said, about 21 hours on Thursday, 20th of May, 2021, I spoke on phone with the Chief of Staff to the late Chief of Army Staff regarding their impending trip to Kaduna the following day, 21st of May, 2021. I had earlier spoken with General Atahiru on the same issue. We ended our conversation on the note that the late Kwas, which is the Chief of Army Staff, and entourage would come by flight at 10:00 hours the following day. About 6:30 hours the following morning, I called the COS to the late COAS to confirm if their travel plan was as we discussed the night before, as I needed to make arrangements for the mosque. In fact, let me see if I can even use this one rather. So I got something. I'm going to continue reading, okay? But just pardon me for a while, okay? I got this, what do you call it? This machine. It's not machine, like it's just equipment. So it's not going to show my face. It's just going to try and show, my screen. Let's see if I can get you there. So now what that does is that I could possibly share my screen like this, and we can be reading together without, making it awkward. Look at that. So I don't know if it's going to be really, I don't think so. So therefore, it's not going to really work for us. So I'm just going to continue reading, right? Let's continue with, the screen rather. Sorry about that. I was going to try that before now anyway. So I'll put that up and then, yes. So this is part of the letter the guy wrote to Tifnumbu. That's the part I'm reading to you because they are so important too. Just so you know that some revelations that are popping up will give you the idea of the kind of government or the people around the government that Bokohari ran in Nigeria. It was a purely jihadist government. And somebody said, initially they said that their plan was 2022. 2022 was the time they probably felt like they were going to do their jihad. For some reason, they missed it. They didn't plan for Corona. But Corona happened, slowed them down, and anyway, they used the rest of the time to further establish themselves, put different of their terrorist cells across Nigeria. A lot of you may not know, we are surrounded already. And that is why they did their best as well to disarm us. And this is them as well, destroying those who could have indeed exposed them. The government that could have been on your side protected those criminals, and they punished this guy. Now he's asking Tifnumbu, who is also going to continue, who has continued from where Bokohari stopped anyway, right? He's asking Tifnumbu to investigate that because there's more. Now let's continue from that part where what really happened. What really happened to the flight the following morning to Atahiru, according to this guy, okay? So he said about 06:30 hours, which is 6:30 in the morning, the following morning, I called the COS to the late COAS to confirm if their travel plan was as scheduled. As we discussed, rather. Where is that again? Yeah. the night before, okay, as I needed to make arrangements for the mosque, that the COS would attend Jumat prayers. The COS informed me that there was a change of plan. He said, after we finished speaking last night, they received a message that the late COS was to attend a meeting either at the Honorable Minister of Defense office or at the Presidential Villa at about 10:00 hours, which was 10 a.m. in the morning on Friday, 21st of May, 2021, when he was supposed to be in Kaduna. And that the late COS was to attend in person and not send a representative. It is important to note that the late COS trip to Kaduna was part of his visit to Zaria to attend the passing out parade at the depot Nigerian Army slated for Saturday, 22nd of May, 2021. It is worth noting that the movement of service chiefs out of station Abuja is with the prior knowledge of the Chief of Defense Staff, the Honorable Minister of Defense, and the Presidency. So why was a meeting scheduled for about the same time that this late COAS was to have departed for or arrived Kaduna, and why the insistence that he should not be represented? In any case, the COS informed me that in view of the meeting, they would depart the flag house, official residence of the COS at Airu, at about 15:30, which will be 3:30 in the afternoon, after attending the meeting and also after Jumat prayers for the airport. They expected to arrive the airport at about 4 o'clock, board the aircraft at about 4:10 p.m. to 4:15 p.m. and depart for Kaduna at about 16 hours, which is at about 4 p.m. I was informed that they had arrived the presidential wing of the airport. I then sent off from the Stallion House, official residence of the GOC, with my entourage in a convoy, and arrived Air Force Base at about 16:15 hours. That is 15 minutes past 4:15 p.m. For reasons that I cannot understand till today, the flight was delayed for over an hour and did not take off until 5:30 in the evening or thereabout. The reason for the delay, as I was informed, was that there was issue with the aircraft that was initially assigned for the mission to convey Atairu and his entourage, and that it had to be changed. Meantime, there was a meteorological alert that Kaduna airspace was going to experience heavy rainfall, accompanied with storm, so wind shear, right? And it was advised. So already the cloud had formed in Kaduna, which was visible to us at the airport. As a matter of fact, the cloud was so thick, which was indicative of a massive storm. I began to nurse doubt about the flight. At some point, I voiced my doubt to Air Commodore Iyamu and others, right? I even suggested that they should advise Abuja weather condition with a view to having the flight cancelled. At that point, I was informed that the aircraft was airborne. That was 5:45 p.m. I became concerned as to whether the aircraft would be able to land at the airport in such a heavy rainfall storm, right? Thus, I was not surprised when Air Commodore Ilo informed me that we had go to the we had to go to the civil whatever. Anyway, as the nav runway was not long enough to enable the aircraft to land under the atrocious weather conditions. So we then set off for the international airports, but at a snail speed due to the heavy rain, which was accompanied by shale and all that, right? So according to them, I said I couldn't see any aircraft on the runway. I frantically looked around, and by far side of the runway was a fireball. It was the aircraft conveying the General Atairu. We got out the vehicles, crossed the runway, and approached the burning aircraft. Firefighters were on hand to put out the blaze. At some point, we had to pull back due to fear of exploding cylinders. We later recovered the corpses of the 10 passengers on board the ill-fated plane, far from where the plane wreckage was. Apparently, their bodies, which were on fire, were flung from the aircraft before it came down, already in flames. Furthermore, the aircraft, or what was left of it, at least what I could recollect, was on a relatively flat grassland. There was no crater. This was indicative of a mid-air collision. So, what caused the aircraft to explode? I wonder what the Air Safety and Accident Investigation Bureau report says about the incident. It was never made public, by the way. So, Al-Kafi further queried, was the flight deliberately delayed in order to be caught up in the rainstorm? Was the aircraft sabotaged, which caused it to explode mid-air? Was the explosion caused by explosives? Was a bomb planted in the aircraft or contained in a parcel, which a passenger unknowingly or knowingly carried? So Al-Kafi is now asking Tinubu to please investigate, because he strongly believes that they killed the guy, because he stated, I was president of the BOI with members and secretary drawn from the NCS, NIS, DSS, NIA, ONSA, that is the Office of the National Security Advisor, the one where Ribadu did now anyway, NFIU, and the Board of Inquiry, which largely conducted its work as an investigative body, was tasked to investigate circumstances surrounding the illegal smuggling of petroleum products contained in 168 oil tankers into Benin Republic through a single smuggling route in Ilesha, Bariba in Kwara State. So in his petition, he said the petition stated that the BOI made a significant discovery regarding the relationship between the smuggling rackets, the terrorism besetting the Northeast, the banditry kidnapping for ransom, which was at its formative stage in the Northeast and part of North Central geopolitical zones at the time, right? He said the illegal mining of minerals in the Northwest and North Central, and large-scale laundering of mostly funds meant for counter-terrorism insurgency operations that was ongoing mostly in the northern regions of the country. A syndicate which had extensive network in the country, as well as being affiliated to international criminal network, was at the center of the moving finances for terrorism, for other criminal activities stated above. So this guy said it was thus apparent that terrorism and insurgency in the Northeast, Northwest, and North Central were a criminal enterprise and were largely undertaken with profits rather than any ideology as the primary motive. Thus, we at the BOI arrived at the obvious conclusion that progress cannot be achieved except the financiers, collaborators, supporters, and the leadership of the terrorist and insurgent groups are identified and the network dismantled. So, I know like that, so may I leave it like that. So if you want to read them, you too self, go check on This Day News. This was a place where somebody said they were working to track the terrorism sponsor, financiers, and they pulled the string inside the presidency of Bokohari, and they killed Atairu, arrested other people who are working on that investigation. And today, except for the eastern part of Nigeria, which has remained so resistant, the rest of Nigeria is now paying ransom to terrorists. The ransoms that are being paid to terrorists, people are asking, where does this money go? Where does this all money go? All the money paid, all these billions, where do they go? Say, well, they are financiers, those who give them the guns and all of that to unleash the terror on you. They are those in government. Now, somebody is writing the Kolu the drug baron. Okay, in whose time Nigeria has further deteriorated beyond control. That, listen, the money that was meant to be used for fighting terrorism, they shared the money. And I remember when John Kerry, that was Obama's Secretary of State, if I remember right. It was John Kerry, right? John Kerry, who played a very big and huge role representing the interest of American government in bringing to power these terrorists, right? Bokohari said their investigation showed that the money meant for arms purchase to fight terrorism under PDP, the money was shared. John Kerry eventually also bought the lie too. You know what I mean? It was a sharing galore. It became an industry. Terrorism in Nigeria became an industry. But guess what? 7 or 8 years ago, this was their talking point. But 8 years after, the situation has gone worse. How many of you remember this?
When Nigeria's President Buhari took office last spring, he inherited a military that was underpaid, underfed, and unable to protect the Nigerian people from Boko Haram. And one reason is that much of the military budget was finding its way into the pockets of the generals. And just this week, we saw reports that more than 50 people in Nigeria, including former government officials, stole $9 billion from the Treasury. I used to be a prosecutor, and I know how hard it is to hold people in positions of public responsibility accountable. But I also know how important it is. The fact is, there is nothing, absolutely nothing more demoralizing, more destructive, more disempowering to any citizen than the belief that the system is rigged against them and that people in positions of power are, to use a diplomatic term of art, crooks who are stealing the future of their own people. And by the way, depositing their ill-gotten gains in ostensibly legitimate financial institutions around the world. Corruption is a social danger because it feeds organized crime. It destroys nation states. It imperils opportunities, particularly for women and girls. It facilitates environmental degradation, contributes to human trafficking, and undermines whole communities. It destroys the future. Corruption is a radicalizer because it destroys faith in legitimate authority. It opens up a vacuum which allows the predators to move in. And no one knows that better than the violent extremist groups who regularly use corruption as a recruitment tool. Corruption is an opportunity destroyer because it discourages honest and accountable investment. It makes businesses more expensive to operate. It drives up the cost of public services for local taxpayers, and it turns a nation's entire budget into a feeding trough for the privileged few. And that is why it is imperative that the business community of the world starts to demand a different standard of behavior.
We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
We will work.
That's 8 years after that. Not only have they used corruption to destroy Nigeria, their corrupt way has led to the death of so many institutions, of all institutions in Nigeria. And because of this, the death of Nigerians, and the lives of Nigerians became worthless to these criminals. That's the consequences of corruption. I mean, what would you say if your family member is kidnapped in Nigeria And then you run down to the police. Oh, police, oh, they've kidnapped me. Please help us, help us. And the police then started taxing you. I'm talking about extorting you. Okay. Then you pay them money. You paid police money. And then they advise you to go and pay the terrorists the ransom. What? That's all now they do for here. Somebody shared that on this guy's platform. Take a look.
Trying to do something bad? Or was he trying to rescue himself? No, the Nigerian government, they encourage people to pay ransom to kidnappers. See case where they do for papi, they pay a whole family. Yes, the family go to the police. Police talk to me, then bring 250,000 naira. Abi? Yes, sir. They collect microphone. These people look for money. They can't manage, raise how much?
As at the last time I discussed with them, they said they raised 7 million. Yes, no, they said nothing.
Between them and police.
Okay, 250,000.
They can't raise how much out of the 250,000?
They didn't tell me how much they raised.
They said they raised 100,000 naira, gave to the police. And the police now said, okay, now, when I don't give this 100,000, make una go settle with the kidnappers. After they don't release the people, then you can come back, we will track them.
You are very correct. You are very correct, sir. Your brain is sharp.
So you can imagine, people who are supposed to rescue you, they tell you to say, go and cooperate. Even though, I'm not going to blame the police. It is for the safety of the people who they kidnap. You don't know who is who. Yes.
Madam President, the travel go east one of the days when they go. So
that's a Brekete family. I don't know why that just went off my head. That is Nigeria. So think I'm well, okay? Before you beat your chest and say you are a proud Nigerian. Because normal, we believe that majority of you say that and kind of believe it. You may not agree, sure you get, and you don't have to agree. It's the fact that you have mental health problem. Sure you get, it's a mental health problem for anybody who is honest and sincere, okay, and see what a mess they've made of this Nigeria, and then you look up and you beat your chest and you say you are a proud Nigerian. We're in here. But again, you have the liberty to disagree. I am not going to have to argue that with you because I do know your condition. Person they argue with somebody where they tell you say is a proud Nigerian. Whatever happened, Nigeria is still my country. I am still going to be proud of the country. I am still going to be praying for the country. One of these days, God is going to. So how could you not be engaging? You're arguing with somebody like that, whether they are young or whether they are old. You will not get mental problem. They argue with people like that, trying to explain to people like that. Just direct them to Mayegun, and if they are curable, try and cure them. If they are not, if they are irredeemable, so be it. Let's go and save their children. For those of them who have already who have reproduced. Have you seen the can? Have you heard from them lately? I know a lot of you have been so on the edge, especially with the issue of insecurity, the issue of economy, the hardship, and the rest of that. At a point, I heard some of you were so mad that you are calling on the CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria. What are you doing? How can you just keep quiet? How can you watch when they are killing us and killing all the Christians and leave them alone? They are useless. They are not. Those are the people who don't believe anything about the Christian Association of Nigeria, the conglomeration of politicians wearing gowns. Here you get, and they can read the Bible offhand. Let us open the book of what? Book of life. Book of life, book of lie. It's just like one weary that is putting on a whole bed sheet on his head to make him look different from, to look different from you. And say, oh, yo, mental basel ni mi afa shaking lati kini kokini baba koshi down and your blanket to read. You know what I mean? Because you can read Arabic. Because me, I cannot read Arabic now. So you are different from you are not, Papa. You know that kind of thing. So there are people already who are like seeing all those gown wearing politicians who can read the Bible. They call them Christian Association of Nigeria. I don't even know what you expect of them. They are not like the American evangelicals. You know the American evangelicals, politically one strong gone. Here you get anything where has to do with their interests. Baba, religiously, politically, they know they joke with them. They will publicly endure and campaign and say, yes, that's what we want. The American evangelicals. I think they are Trump's favorites. And a lot of people are like, Trump, Christian, how they take a match together? You would have to find out yourself. But I'm just saying the influence of those who call in the name of God to lead the folk, the children of God, in the place of turmoil, in a country of ruin, where the criminals doing all of this are their friends. They are not supposed to be friends. Whatever you are going through, they will tell you to pray. Defending. Are these the people you are expecting to speak up when the Fulani terrorists come and kill you? Are these the ones you are looking up to? Those ones that will tell you that if you are a Muslim, they say you don't turn to Mataya. You kill my daughter. You are telling me that my daughter turned Mataya. Mataya of what? You killed my daughter. He said, but Allah said, Allah, they preach to me like that, oh. Sure you get. You kill my daughter. They tell me, say, she's Mataya. Mataya Kini. Mataya call my Sakuni. See, you killed my daughter and you say, God, can you coin to let us pray. Baba share very showful. But look at this one, so 63,000 Christians have been slaughtered. Emphasis, Christians killed by the jihadist terrorists up north.
Visit the president for the first time. Can we know what has brought you?
This was them when they met with Kolu, by the way. They met with Kolu. And after meeting with Kolu, they came back. Baba, they were doing the Vuvuzela job better than some of you. Online alimajiri, Facebook adsmen, social media bandits. You see these ones? After meeting Kolu, almost see adverts, Nabi.
Visit the president for the first time. Can we know what has brought you?
Yes. The general elections of 2023 have come and gone. And by the grace of God, we have a sitting president in the person of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. And so the leadership of CAN decided to come to pay a courtesy visit, to congratulate him on his election, and to pledge our support for his administration. Yeah.
So you must have been following developments in the country for some time now. What do you say of his administration so far?
Oh no, sincerely, what we found out is that the president is actually sensitive to all these challenges that we have. He is aware, and we see him making very positive steps even from the beginning of his administration. By the way he has made the appointments so far, he has come with a great sense of inclusiveness, and Nigerians are having a sense of belonging as Nigerians and in this government. And I tell you that his pronouncements so far and his body language has increased the confidence of Nigerians in Nigeria. And we believe that given the chance, he will do a lot more. And we are praying that the Lord will strengthen his hand to be able to do more and turn around the fortunes of this country. We know that there are a lot of challenges, but what we tell our people is that this is just the beginning of this administration, and Nigeria is big. And what we face now started not just today, started many years back, and it will take a while to turn around these things. But the important thing is that there is an intentional step that the president has taken and is taking to reverse the trend of events, especially in the area of governance. We see it very clearly, and we see the efforts he's making towards securing this nation. So we ask the Nigerians who are watching, and those people who seem to have lost hope, to not to lose hope, but to have patience and persevere. Though it is night, we know that a new dawn is just in the horizon.
Is there any request or advice for the president?
Well, the advice we have for the president is for him to continue on the path that he is now determined to follow. He is determined to run a government that is for all, a government that is all-inclusive, a government that listens to the people, just like he made a pledge to us that he will continue to listen to us. And he has opened the channels for us, that anything that we see or any concern that we have, we should always come back to let him know. So we believe that now we have a listening president, and we urge him to continue on that path and to continue to always look out for those who mean well for this nation.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
Bologbo nuisance. But is it just me? I felt like it was like somebody with a put gun for his head. Yeah. Talk. But it may just be somebody who is just anxious, kind of like, you know, if it felt like, you know, he was nervous or something like, you know, I don't know. He was lying on camera. Nigerians are comfortable and they are happy with Tifnumbu. His policies, especially since he came in, especially his appointment. Baba Evangelisti. Iyolong. Ha! You enter Aso Rocky, the asshole Rocky. You entered there, came out, and suddenly, all the dead people, all the, you know, what people are actually facing in the country, which you know, and which is why you are there, you came out of the asshole Rocky, and you turn yourself to Arudaku Ketu. Well, people will feel hire fake bishop, fake this, fake that. What else can they not do? But that's the Christian Association of Nigeria. Nigeria Christian Association. They are leaders. They are praise singers, opportunists, chancers, scroungers, scoundrels, pickpockets. Everyone is just taking advantage as much as it comes around. Like, that is why they can't go back to their churches and tell their congregants the truth. Because the truth may lead all their congregations here and there. It may lead them straight to the streets. Because they will know that they've been wasting their time praying for a lot of things that they could actually fight for and get and not bother God about them. So that you can bother God with something more important, something more personal, more important. Not because say you never chop or because you can't pay the school fees of your children. Simply because the economy is what it is. You've got no job. They can't go back. You will never have Martin Luther King in any of their churches in Nigeria. Nobody won't do any savior, save the people, preach and tell the truth. Like, they are all chancers. And that's why they say, now you go fight for yourselves. Nobody is going to fight for us. Now, let me put everyone on break. So if you haven't really liked the broadcast, okay, it is the offering. I know Facebook is really, really terrible. And I wonder how they make it so difficult for all of you to even comment. Can you believe that? That Facebook, apart from stopping people from seeing my videos, right, they also ensure that those who see the videos, some of them cannot like, they cannot share, they cannot comment, they can only watch. Whatever they even feel inside, they can't say, unfortunately. So go to my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, right, and like the broadcast, okay? And if you want to be part of it further, right, you can pick up your phone and call in tonight. I will draw the curtains there, okay? And when I get back, I will be taking calls. I may be speaking to you too. So, don't go anywhere. Just to save our time, okay? I have a caller and my tea is ready, so it's not taking longer this time, okay? Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine. Oh, me again, no. Oh. Today, all the things you presented, beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am.
I look at, you see that one that, what happened to the plane that crashed. You remember that time they say it crashed?
Atairu, yeah?
Atairu, yes. You see, Nigeria is a crime scene.
It is.
Nigeria is a crime scene. You know, when you look at Nigeria, Nigeria is not a country. Let's not, we're calling yourself, I'm in Nigeria, you're deceiving yourself.
I'm telling you.
Nigeria is not a country. Nigeria is a British plantation. When they come and get their money to make their country better. So Nigeria is not a country. Look at the way people are coming in, flying into Nigeria and taking resources and flying out. So all those places that they are doing all those business, that is why they are putting their Boko Haram, putting their terrorists there to protect.
Investigating them, anybody trying to expose them, they either plan to kill you or they will jail you. It's the same everywhere.
Yes. Now, you remember that girl, that Yoruba girl, that Air Force girl, Arotile, yes. They say she's a very good shooter. That's why, because she was really disturbing those people. And they were not happy, Boko Haram, they were not happy with her. So that's how they planned. Nobody will tell me that girl, something, so a car just went and hit her. Do they call us fool? I just look at Nigeria government. Maybe they think that we don't have sense with all this thing that they are doing. How can a country, how can some set of people hold a country down like this? How can a set of people hold people down in their own country? What is happening? What is happening to all of you? I want to ask you. What is happening to all the men? Nigerian men. What is happening? There are some set of people. We hold Nigerian men like this down, and they are treating them like this, and nobody can do anything. It is a surprise. So I'm just asking because now look at it. The youth, they are doing their own all over the place. It's either they do Yahoo. If they don't do Yahoo, they will carry woman. If they don't carry woman, they hook up. They'll do comedy. If they do comedy, it finish. No life, no end. All these things very soon they will not be able to make money on the internet again. It's not them to come now and fight for this country. Buhari has done his own. Buhari has gone. Are you telling me that Tinubu doesn't know? That's what I'm saying. Look at, I will come to the pastors. Let me just finish the bishop with the cap at the head of their head, like goat. Let me tell you something. Sorry that I use that word. Let me tell you something. Look, all these people that you see, all of them, all this, one thing is happening here, one thing, Tinubu is nothing. Tinubu know everything that's happening in Nigeria. Tinubu, they've kept Tinubu aside to be Nigeria president for long. They share Nigeria even the one that will go in 2000 after Tinubu in 2027, the next one after 27 is going to be somebody that's already planned down. And if we are not careful, it's going to be Shetima. It's going to be Shetima. Nigeria is a crime scene. You know, I used to watch a movie on is it Mexico? They were doing gangster movie star, how they murder themselves, how they kill themselves, how they do all those things, you know, how they sell drugs and do everything. They go into politics, they control the political scene. That is what is happening in Nigeria now. Nigeria is being controlled in the drug cartel. The drug cartel people, they're in politics. The Emir of Sokoto is part of it. He's calling himself the head of state. Without him, nobody can be a Nigeria president. That's why everybody must go to his front and bow down. All this Oba, hierarchy Oba that is in Nigeria, they are among what is happening. All of them, they are inside this thing. This Nigeria that is destroying. They are inside. Okay, let's look at
Thank you, ma. Okay.
I'll quickly, let me just do this. Let's look at our religious leaders, the Christians. They are the pastors. Look at them. Look at that man. Hey, look at him. He cannot even look into the mirror. He cannot even look into the camera. That man is a thief. He's a god. They are killing Christians all over Nigeria. You have the infantry to go into Castle Rock, and when you came back from there, because they give bag of money, you change your mouth. Now you are praising somebody that came into office, but rig himself in. Oh,
like what would Jesus do? That's what they always ask them these days. Yeah, if Jesus was here today, would he just go and sit and have a wine and dine with Tifnumbu inside the Castle Rock? What would Jesus do? I think everybody knows the answer.
Jesus. Yes, let me say Jesus is not a political king. Jesus came as a savior. And let me tell anybody that is talking that rubbish.
No, Jesus wanted let me explain to you, ma. What they are saying is that Jesus Christ will never be seen to sit with rulers who are making life hard for their people. So Jesus would not say, because I'm a Christian, I'm a Jesus, okay? So I'm just going to go and sit and have a wine with Herod. Herod was the king of that era, and he stood in front of him and he told him the truth. So that statement is not to make Christians feel bad. They are just like...
I know, but what I'm saying is that when Jesus was alive, when Jesus was alive before he was crucified, Jesus went into the temple and he scattered inside the church. Scatter inside the church and even stood and said the truth. Let me tell you, when are we going to have somebody like what's his name in America? Martin Luther King. When are we going to have them? We have one already in Plateau, but that one when it rakes small,
But we
you go
have
taste
one
time.
too. Showore is still there. That one is even like involved with them politically. You know something, man? Let me take another one. People have been complaining. You know something, man? People have been complaining that. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Maya. So people have been sort of complaining to me, and I don't want to sound insensitive to all of you. Okay, they feel like sometimes, right? When people call in, okay, they don't give a damn about other people. All right, even if they pretend to, like, oh, I'm hurrying up. If they spend 20 minutes, 15 minutes, it still feel like they've only spent 2 minutes to them. And in a way, it feels sort of like I am making that happen intentionally. I love engaging people, especially conversation that can be very interesting as well, right? But somehow, I think we should all have intention of making our presentation as quick as possible for others too. Like, you know, I know nobody's going to listen to me like that, but I will never stop saying it so that everybody can know that I am not doing that intentionally. And most of the time, people even abuse me that I did not let that caller finish talking. Even when I'm like, hey, it's been 10 minutes now, it's been 15 minutes. So that could have taken about 4 other people contributing to the conversation. You know that, right? So please, in case, you know what I mean, I'm not like intentionally making that happen. And I hope you will help me as you are calling in as well, okay? Just, you know, like, remember, 5 minutes may be so small, but it's quite a long time too, okay? Thank you very much. I have a caller. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Maye.
Hey,
good morning.
Prince?
No, it's Mr. George calling you from
George.
India.
Where are you calling from? Sorry?
I'm calling you from India.
From India. You know something that got me off, right? I have this prince that calls from Qatar. You probably have heard of him as well, right? So most of the times when that number from +9+, you know, I just feel like, oh, that's going to be probably Qatar. How are you, George?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. So how are you and your family?
Well, I'm still here, surviving. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, thank you for the expose. And I want to say something about our Lady B. What our Lady B said yesterday. I actually called, but I think I was unable to get through yesterday. Yeah. You know, I want to say something. I want to tell her, and I'm sure that she is listening now. I want to tell her that TB Joshua killed my immediate elder sister. My immediate elder sister was a second-year student in Bayero University, Kanu, BUK, Kanu. Second year. She was studying accounting. You understand? She was an accounting student. She was an accounting student, the Department of Accountancy. So when my sister was sick, we were living in Lagos then, Ajegule, number 10 Olayini Street, Ajegule. That's where we were living then. So then we asked her to come back. So she came back. Then we took her to the synagogue. Then was the era of those people carrying placards. I think of late they stopped carrying those placards, writing like those placards that they will indicate she was born with this sickness, their age, and she was born with this sickness, or she had been with this sickness for this years, blah blah blah. So my sister got there. So those days, TB Joshua used to wear white shoe. So when he got to where you are, he would remove his shoes and kick on your feet and tell you are healed. Throw away your medicines. Like that guy that threw away his medicines in that documentary they show. That white guy that threw away his medicines. So that was what happened. So my sister threw away all her medicines and went back to school. Then we went back to our board. So like 2-3 weeks or 1 month later, so my sister became so sick again. She became so sick, so bad that the hospitals rejected her. So they have to take her. Then now we have no option than to take her to a spiritual, to church home, to churches. So another church, there she were. She was there and she died.
I'm so sorry, man.
She died. She died 2001. So pastors are killers in Nigeria. So nobody should come out and tell me that TB Joshua did this, TB Joshua did that. Like yesterday when she was saying it, yes, I know, but it was the medicine that they gave to her that made her vomited whatever she vomited, not just that thing that her daughter was sprinkling that made her whole. No, it's not. But I'm not talking about that. I just want to share this for people to know. It was GB Joshua that killed my sister. She died 2001.
You know, there are so many people who were told by their different religious leaders to stop taking their medication for cancer, for diabetes, for asthma, or for so many other, different ailments that people are actually like dealing with, and they died. And guess what? They just tell the people that, oh yeah, they probably have no strong faith, or God took them so that they can go and rest. But that's not the deal. We know what these people are suffering from. Then you told them to stop taking medication. Like you literally killed them.
Yes. That was what happened. That man killed my sister. So anytime I see that man or anybody talking about that man, I feel like getting that person. If I'm closer to that person, I feel like strangling the person.
Your sister the second time, the third time, because it's always going to bring back that memory. It's going to bring back that trauma, and I can only imagine, bro.
And I don't blame the people that say that man faked his death, because with what is going on, I believe he could not have withstood it. So that was why they said he faked his death. I didn't doubt it. The people that said he faked his death, I didn't doubt it, because with what is going on, he knew that he would have been in a very big mess, and that was why he faked his death. And I still believe it. Whatever thing they said about that man,
George, faked his death.
Yes, no, yes, they said he faked his death because
I've never heard of that. I'm hearing it for the first time.
Yes, they said he faked his death because he knew what was coming, because he knew about this BBC investigation, about his disciples, about his former disciples, about to expose him. You understand? He was aware of this BBC investigation. He was aware of it before his death. He was aware of it. Yes, he knew those things were going on, and they would definitely expose it. Now, they now said that he knew the magnitude of the crime he committed, that countries were not going to let him be, and that was why he faked his death. And I believed it, he faked his death. That was why they displayed him in a transparent glass coffin for people to see. Yes, actually he died, and they kept him meters, I mean distance away from people, so that nobody will see what he was. So that nobody will see what was actually happening in that glass. Nobody was close. People were meters apart from there. So that was actually what I want to say anyway, my brother.
Thank you, George.
So that's just that. Just keep the good work. Thank you so much.
Well, right? Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, God bless you.
And you too.
It's okay. God bless you.
See, a lot of you may not understand about. I'm going to my caller. A lot of Nigerians don't understand the theory of pain. To them, pain is when you unleash pain on them, when you inflict punishment, like hitting them or punching them, giving them that's the pain. There are some pains that Nigeria has caused our citizens by allowing criminals to take advantage of their citizens. Okay, take advantage of their minds, take advantage of their vulnerabilities. And a lot of people are walking about with a wounded heart caused by what Nigeria is. And you probably will never know until they share them with you. And guess what? Nigeria is just like a place of a wounded people, a system that kills our own citizens. Not physically all the time, but most of them, spiritually. Here is a caller. Sorry for that. Look, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Hello, Segun. I'm trying to be good. You know what I can say is that the advice. I can only advise the people back home. Please, guys, we've said a lot. You've seen a lot, aside from we are saying it. You guys have seen a lot. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. Please, can you please come outside? At least, can you please express yourself? Can you please just come and tell these people that this thing is too much, you can't bear it anymore? Stop pretending as if all is well and you are suffering. Enough is enough. Come out, please, and say something. Don't ignore these people. They are telling you every time. They're starving you. They're doing everything. They're killing you morally with everything, spiritually, everything. They are fast. The Wallis, every one of them, they've joined us together. They're destroying you. They're ruining you. Please, that is what I have for you, because there's nothing else we did not said. Thank you, Mr. Ewe. God bless you. Thank you.
Stay safe, okay? Good night, man. So here is another caller. I love this. If we can keep it moving that way, a lot of people will have their own voice on the program tonight, their own views. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Megun. I'm happy to come into the show this evening, man.
I am happy to be speaking to you tonight. Baba, how are you?
I'm fine. Long time. How is your project going?
Well, we are.
When's what's it called? Automatic salary. I'm a dawo jowa.
You see, what do you call her? Agbeke was designing. Okay. She was designing what do you call it? Business card. Okay. So she
okay. Wow.
Up. I join all of them and all. So that's my address. That's gonna be my Egun's official address. Here you get.
So that's this lovely.
Baba, I know that a lot of people will have to respond later, this week and all that.
Yes.
I'm counting on that. Thank you so much, Baba.
Yeah, I just want to add to what the last caller said. You see, it's unfortunate the type of society we live in. Everybody is exploiting. The government is exploiting the citizen. The medicals are even exploiting. Look at the last expose on the fake drugs that is in what's it called, the country. We have some of our parents now, some of us here, we just have to start getting drugs for them. Worst case, we tell them, please go to Benin Republic or what's it called, Ghana, or Togo to get maybe more quality drugs. Now, what I really want to talk on is actually on the religious line. You remember the what's it called you did on one Sunday sermon talking about corruption? And you were using Bible verses to talk to everybody. I think you need to talk on all these fake miracles.
You want me to do a series on that? Don't worry.
Seriously, on this fake. There are many Bible chapters. But let me just donate one Bible chapter. Even do you know that even assuming that we are not following Jesus' teaching, not to kill, do you know that even in the Bible it is written there that any prophet that says anything that is contrary to what God has said, and or he says an utterance that does not come to pass, people should kill the person.
Yeah.
Yes, it is there in the Bible, in Deuteronomy, chapter 18, verse 20 to 23. It's clearly written there. If anybody says anything and say that
blasphemy, so he must
exactly that the person should be.
I remember it.
Exactly, but now, because we are now Christians, we don't follow the Mosaic law again, the law of Moses again. But even in the law, what's it called? Later, even Jesus Christ said that anybody, he still repeated it, that people should move away from them, that there will be apostasy in the church. But you find out that these churchgoers, can we even count the number of prophecies that have not come to pass in that Nigeria? They will tell you somebody is going to win an election. They will tell you somebody is going to win the Nations Cup. They will tell you all sorts of madness, and people are still going to their churches where Exactly. You know, we just have to be sincere with ourselves. I think another thing that country is more of we need to be truthful to ourselves. Nǹkan tó bá ti jẹ́ nǹkan dúdú àbí nǹkan tó clear síyàn. Ká má máa push àwọn èèyàn pé nǹkan tútù. And we see it in our society. We complain, but we are still a reflection of our society as a whole.
Yeah.
People will be corrupt. You see people say that time money, time Yoruba, time Igbo, time Hausa. Can you imagine? We cannot move forward.
Look at because they will be telling you.
Can you imagine?
That, if it's them, no, me too.
Exactly.
I will do more than that. You are right. We are the reflection.
Maegu, I made a mistake the first time I came to this country. Okay, it so happened that they give us this assignments at school, at the uni. So there is one of our Niger guys, he did not do this, but I used my own assignment to help him. Do you know what I did? I just changed the numbers.
Right.
But the plagiarism checker. Exactly. The plagiarism checker just brought out the graph simultaneously that the numbers is just the same. So he was saying that it's not possible to have the same graph even though we have different numbers. You know the mistake I said? I said, I'm sorry. That's the mistake I said. I'm sorry.
Don't ever do that again. Don't ever. In anything at all. You see what they teach plagiarism as in this country? Like they get you to like go away. Don't come back to this place again. You know,
but this is what is
make sure that if you want to be an engineer, you must know what you did to become engineer. If you want to become a doctor,
exactly,
because life will depend on you. If you're an engineer to build their road, to build their bridges, you don't go copy somebody's work where you don't know. You can't go about as an engineer, or you are a doctor. Somebody who is in a serious medical review, they can't bring a you. Not say that you have plagiarized all somebody's work in this country. Sometimes it actually carries jail time when they take us serious.
But look at it. In my own mind, I was thinking I was helping my colleague, but not knowing that. So it just put me on the right track. Like, look, if you want to be responsible in this country,
yes,
you don't give passes.
No, you don't cut corners. You just
no.
The right things.
No,
and that's it.
At the right time.
That's it. That's all you need.
And if we cannot replicate that in the country, we are just misbehaving.
God bless you. I'll take another.
And come on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you.
And you
will expect us on weekend.
Right. No wahala, baba. No rush. Even myself, I went there today. And honestly speaking, I can't really wait to share the whole thing with everyone. But yeah, thank you. Okay. You have a good one yourself. All right. Yeah, so my studio is going to go live from the 1st of February, but it's not going to be officially ready until maybe about 2 weeks after. But if I have enough money, I could probably rush it in a week. I'm just saying, but we are so close to there now. I have a caller. Hello. Yeah.
Hi, Sister B.
Hey, our Lady Beatrice. How are you tonight, ma?
I thank God. I want to. Hi, Sister B.
You might need to mute the TV now. You've been connected. So yeah, go on, ma.
Yeah, I want to sincerely wish my brother who called, who spoke about
from India.
About me. Okay. Condolences for his sister. And that may her soul rest in peace.
Amen.
This thing about God is an individual thing.
An experience individually. It can only be individually experienced.
Yeah. I didn't talk about any other person. I talked about myself. So, and I know what I went through for over 10 years with the problem that nearly killed me. So, the fact that it happened to me that way, everything depends again on our faith, right, our commitment, and our innermost person, whether you're a churchgoer or not. You have to naturally be a fighter for your own life. If you give up on one small disease, it can kill.
That's right.
People have died of ordinary headache. People have died of malaria. And all had happened to me.
Millions have actually died of malaria. You're right.
Exactly. The same leukemia has killed many people.
And he's still killing too.
He's still killing. And my doctors were surprised that I survived it. So judging me or thinking that I'm not, look, TB Joshua was not my brother or from my place. I got to know him 2012 because of my difficulties. And my mother was the one who said, come home. I said, oh, Mama, I'm already praying with him online. Mama said, come, please, come. Don't listen to what people are saying. Then I came, 2012. Then he prayed for me. All the things I'm hearing now, I didn't see it. He kept me in that church for 13 days. He fed me. He gave me a personal assistant to take me around. And on the 13th day, they came and told me that the prophet said, I'm okay, now you can go home. I only saw him within that period, I think twice. When you say you're on prayer line, they come and pray for everybody. Yeah. So the way it happened to A may not be the way it will happen to B. Even Jesus Christ, not everybody that went to him or people that met him received healing. There was a woman that was very desperate to touch his garment, and she got her healing.
The woman of the issue of blood, the woman with the issue of blood, yeah?
Yes, she got, if it is today, they will say she's lying. All those things. The way that, the fact that it happened, the fact that it happened to her that way, I'm really sorry about it, but that has nothing to do with me. She has already seen him many years before I saw him. I saw him 2012, and he said 2001.
Yeah, that's pretty much like 11 years after that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and then to tell you the truth, there's a woman from the north, a woman from Kaduna. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, ma'am. Go on.
The woman from Kaduna, she came to the church. She didn't even see TB Joshua. She came with her son. She has problems. She was like crippled. She was telling her son, just bring me to Lagos. A northern woman, a Muslim. Bring me to Lagos. Even if I don't see him, let me just touch the building. I will be healed. So the young man, it was shown to all of us. I wasn't in this. I know him, I'm a partner, but I've only been to that church like 3 times. Each time I travel to Nigeria.
You have your own experience that is
exactly.
life-changing too. So,
yeah, so and
it's
that
yours,
woman,
and it's only you who actually understands your.
Exactly. And the son was not happy with the mother. The mother said, please take me there. I will get my healing. So the son brought her there. It was not on a Sunday. She didn't see the prophet. She just came near to that building. And immediately she stood there in the front of the church. She started screaming and shouting, jumping. Many people, those who know what I'm saying, can testify. So the security people came and said, Madam, what is wrong? Why are you shouting? She started telling her stories. That she knew that if she got there, she would be healed. Many stories.
Something like
that. Yes, many stories like that. So if the prophet didn't pray for that woman, the woman came and touched the building. Are you getting me? Everything is upon your feet. Some people come there who have listened to all the negativities, and they come to that place with that negativity. They may not receive what they are looking for.
You know what somebody told me, ma? Somebody said that if you can explain, what do you call it? If you can explain how you feel about your miracle, it simply means that you know what I mean, like I mean, it wasn't a miracle, because a miracle is something that is beyond your explanation. You can only describe and say, okay, yeah, this is how I felt, because it is personal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But again,
after that time that I did that vomiting and came back home, I have also had other issues. Remember that the cancer was against my white blood cell, which means my immune system is not working. Up till now, I'm still fighting to get my immune system back. But the cancer is no longer to be seen. Are you getting me? Okay. So, and I cannot now tell you that because They are still working hard to get my immune system back. Therefore, God didn't do anything for me.
I understand.
I'm testifying to my own.
You are the testimony. You are the one who
Yes.
has that person. You know what?
My mother
Thank you so much.
Yes, I live. My mother was bedridden for many months. I told my sister, just take her to synagogue. So my sister, they didn't even get to the to inside the church. They also stood around the building. They came on a Saturday. My mother, who was not working, she stood around the church and they prayed. They carried her in a car back to the hotel. Early in the morning, my mother forgot that she has not been working for over 6 months. Wow. She stood up, took her shower, dressed up. My sister called me. Mama is working. Oh, Mama is working. Oh. It depends on your faith.
That's right.
Depends on your
Anyway,
faith.
you know, I'm going to take another one because of our time as we've been doing it tonight.
I'm not a personal assistant of TV Joshua. I'm telling you what happened to me.
Anyway, I wasn't expecting TV Joshua to be part of our gist, but
yeah, because the guy brought it up and mentioned it, and I need to keep that point. I'm sorry about what happened to the sister, but please, you should leave me out of it. Thank you very much.
You have a good one, okay? So what happened is that indeed, right, miracle happened. So are you with me? And it's just that sometimes if you don't experience it yourself, a miracle happens every day, by the way. Like, it doesn't have to be, how to say, theatrical show and all of that. But it's also personal. Do you get that now? If I tell you now that I have been deaf from birth, how would you know? If my brother comes and say, my ego has been deaf for us, I didn't know. Man. And I've known this my ego for a while. Oh. I didn't know that he's deaf in the left ear. Say, but one morning I just woke up and I just heard from the left ear when I was listening to Pastor Chris Oyakilome. You may be like, what are you talking about? My friend, shut up, Jerry. They'll say, it is my miracle. It is my testimony. It doesn't mean that you have to go and bring your deaf brother, a bit deaf sister. We're going to do competition. If Chris go heal him or you know go heal him. So that is why we shouldn't take it personal. Okay? Miracle is personal. Do not sit down there and begin to feel like getting a job is a miracle to some people. Do you know that? Getting a job, graduating is a huge, and that's something that a lot of you does or you did. It's just like, just like that. Do you understand that? Buying a car, even if Nakurupe, is a miracle for some people. They will say, like, in my family, we no buy keke. I say, how many generation? Don't ask about how many generation. I can tell you this. I am the first person to buy Kurupe in my family. I say, wow. And I'm so grateful to God that I broke that chain. Now I'm going to buy a car. Now I'm going to buy a house. Now I'm going to, all that stuff. So miracle could mean anything, everything and anything and all that, okay? We just don't like the charlatans taking advantage of our people because we have seen that a lot. But again, they say if they explain them to you and you understand them, it is not a miracle. Miracle is something that is so unexplainable. Anyway, I'll take another one. Hello there.
Hello, my good general.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh my goodness. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
I'm good.
How are you?
Good. Yourself?
Well, I'm very well. Thanks for asking. I've always been doing my best to be here so that at least, even if I have to put up a face for the sake of all of you, to have something to look at and say, yeah, I love, my mind is fresh and I can go to bed without looking worried to all of you. So yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome. This is Ken calling from California.
Say that again. Did you say Ken?
Yeah, Ken from California.
That is Ken from Cali. So Ken, please, you are live too. Everyone can hear you. Go on.
Okay. The first thing first. I'll try to put an idea in front of you to decide which way to go about it. They have like Facebook Reels. So it would be nice for you to pick up some of these topics that people, talk about and send it out. Those can go viral in Nigeria. People will, come back and share it.
I know.
You know what I mean? On average, you have about 3,000 people every day.
I know.
Keen into the show, right?
Yes,
so if you have a reel and 3,000 people decide to push it out, you'll make a big difference. Because those are like
those are the things and many more that we are going to explore the moment we are in our space. Okay. So you can give me 6 months time, and then I could probably make you proud in 6 months.
Oh, okay. That will make a big difference in Nigeria because people don't have too much data.
Yeah.
So it is just like a quick clip. People can share it easily.
But that theory, that theory that people in Nigeria do not have all of their resources to stream the whole thing. Do you know that theory is not really so true? See, I have take a look at this. So I have over 90,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I am averaging between 800,000 and 1 million views in a month, right? Now, do you know that out of that 1 million views in a month, 27% of that is coming from Nigeria? And I was always like, how? Then I realized that I've had, just like I have people who are like, adherent supporters for a very long time now, I have them in Nigeria too. And I don't think it bothers, but the part where the majority is not being met, that majority still needed to be met. The majority that cannot stream all of that 3 hours. And I'm working on it. I promise. Like in 6 months' time, everybody will look back and say, wow, you did it. Because we will do it.
Okay.
So much, go on, please.
Yeah, let me go into my message real quick. I'm gonna go crazy about this Nigeria issue right now.
Take your time.
So I'm gonna directly address Nigerian military at the moment.
Please go on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I said I want to address Nigerian military directly through your show.
Yeah, please go ahead. I mean, you have the floor. Go on, please.
Okay. This message is directly to Nigerian military men, women, everybody in the military, from the age or from the rank of major downward. The best things you can do for your country as a citizen of Nigeria is to stand up. Nigerian military, if you're hearing, stand up and revolt against this injustice happening in Nigeria. Stand up and take your place as #1 military in Africa. If you were still that, stand up and do the right thing for this country, Nigeria. So many blood has been shed. So many people have died. The only people I know that has the courage to solve this problem is Nigerian army. Please get up and do the needful. Stand up for your country. Stand up for your family. Stand up for your next generation. Because these politicians have destroyed the country. They have turned everybody into slaves. Even you, the military men and women, you guys are slaves to the politicians. Stand up and kick these people out. That is the only way to change Nigeria. Because the Nigerian citizens don't have the strength and the courage to do the right thing. The only people that have that is Nigerian military. Please stand up and do the right thing and save the country. If you have to split the country apart, please do that. That is the only thing we are asking for you guys in the diaspora. Nigerian military, get up and do the right thing. That is the only thing I'm requesting for today. That is the set of people I'm talking to. What is his name?
Probably heard you loud and clear, Ken.
Okay. So because back in the day, what's his name? IBB and the rest of them, and go on and those guys, they got in power in their 20s. Most of them are 27 to 33 when they took power. So Nigerian youth, listen and listen carefully. Take over that country. If you are a military man today, come up with your people and take over. That is the only thing you can do to save that country. Everything is upside down. The country has gone. That is the only way to restore the country, or break it apart and let everybody go. That is all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Ken. They heard you. And again, like every night and every other day, we will never stop reminding them that until something is done, until they stop these criminals, I don't think they will ever stop. So, Ken, God bless you for that direct message, by the way. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to go take another call. But before I actually take that another call, right, I'm going to make one singular call now. And it's going to be like a last call or second to the last call. So to those of you who responded and you went on there to either subscribe onto my channel or decided to leave the comment section to go and give your own offering. Now we are almost at the end of the broadcast. So this is the last call. If you haven't really liked the broadcast as your own offering, you can do that while I take this call. That's our next call. Here. Hello there. Something tells me this is George calling back from India, and I pray I am wrong. But here, hello.
Well, Mayogun, you are wrong. This is Paul calling from India as well.
No, I am actually happy to be wrong. You know why? Something tells me that George is dialing back after Lady B called, right? He's dialing back to say something. Immediately that number came on, right? I just felt like, I used to always, when I see this kind of number, I used to always think of you alone. I said, that would be Paul. But since people have started calling from Qatar, Australia, India, and other places, I'm like, I'm not sure anymore. How are you?
I'm fine, Mayogun. How are you doing? And how is the family?
We are doing well, though, Baba. Thanks so much for asking. And how is your family?
Yeah, we are doing well too. We are doing well. We thank God. Well, Mayogun, I want to thank you again for everything and keep up the good work. We are anxiously awaiting the opening of your studio.
And you go see me presenting, standing up. I say, see. Anyway.
Yes, so
go on.
Yes, so that one was you.
You know.
Well, Mayogun, well, in a way, you are also right because I was actually calling to reference both my big sister and George were actually talking about. That's why I called. You know, I'm always about religion.
I know. Paul is also, a part-time pastor who has a small congregation that he also teaches. So please, Paul.
I want to clarify. You can see, first of all, we can see the disparity in understanding. First of all, that is clear now. How he is feeling let down by the religion, let down by the faith, and how she is feeling alive by the faith. That is a disparity. Let's hold on to that fact first. Now, secondly, despite all that has been happening in Nigeria, Mayogun, like you clearly said, faith, belief is personal.
It is.
So even if the so-called man of God is not genuine, even if the so-called man of God is fake, even if the so-called man of God uses false powers, it is left for the faith of the individual to drive the miracle. The faith of that individual your faith is like a power. It is the engine that drives the miracle. So it has nothing to do with the man of God. That's why in my own teachings, I tell people, look, don't wait for me to pray for you. The Bible talks about the power in the tongue. Your tongue and the grace upon you might even be stronger than me that I'm standing as a pastor or as a teacher in front of you. Always learn to drive your faith by yourself. Drive your belief by yourself. Don't encourage men to stand before you as gods. Everyone has access to God on a personal level.
What pained George most, from what I could deduce from his position, right, is the fact that them having faith, here you get, them believing in God through the man of God, made them, made their sister to stop using her medication. And we've heard stories like that, where they will say you cannot mix medication with the faith of God. You are supposed to be somebody who knows, who is kind of sort of learning that field.
And
that's where people get
I'm
it
happy.
mixed up, like they are not happy that they can tell somebody to stop taking
and
medication.
I'm happy. And I'm happy that you made use of that statement through the man of God, not through your own personal faith, through the man of God. Everyone listening to us tonight, please underline that's what Amaegun used. Through the man of God. not through your own faith, your own personal
I won't
faith.
tell myself
Look,
to
my
stop taking
for
my
every
medication.
miracle,
Paul.
yes,
I won't tell myself,
for
somehow, and say, I'm just going to stop taking my medication.
exactly. And that is where all these false teachings, all these heresies, that is where they've come in. Teaching Christians not to, teaching Christians, Jesus to heal àwọn èèyàn. Ṣó sọ fún ọ pé kó má lọ sọ́dọ̀ doctor mọ́. Jesus healed a lot of people. Did he now advise them that now I have healed you? Never visit a physician again. That is how stupid we have become with religion. That is how senseless we have become with religion. When Jesus asked people, do you believe? If he had to heal anyone, read through all his miracles in the New Testament. One of the first questions he will always ask you is, do you believe? Why do you think Jesus asked that question? He asked that question because he needs your faith, your belief to drive the miracle he wants to perform for you. It's not as if he can't do it for you freely. He can. But he wants us to understand that it is a personal driven faith.
All have a role to play in our own miracles.
Exactly. So that's the point I want to make, my own, because I don't want to take that. I always like other people to call in.
I know. The views is like, is open. All right. And everyone can just take it on. So and I'm happy that you also drop your own contribution. And a lot of people heard you too. Baba, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my own.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You have a good one. Okay. So here is my last caller. Okay. And here. Hello.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you so much. Nice to hear from you.
It's a pleasure that you are in. In on it tonight. How are you doing?
I'm fine. So I'm going to go straight to the point. So the question I want to ask, sometimes a lot of us think, or we give this excuse that the reason why a prayer or miracle didn't work was because you lack faith. But I would like to also ask this simple question. What faith did Lazarus, who was dead, what faith did he have that made the miracle work on him?
He was dead.
He was dead already.
He was not even present.
Exactly. So he had
somebody else's faith, faith that they used.
Exactly. If America as a country today were praying, fasting 24/7, spent most of their time, right? They would not be America. They would have been invaded by another country.
They would never be this America. No.
Exactly. If you spend your lifetime, because everybody has 24 hours. The Nigerian man has 24 hours.
Yes.
The Chinese man has 24 hours.
That's right.
The British man has 24 hours. What you do with your 24 hours is going to show over time. So if we keep on still praying for Jesus to save us, we are all going to go down one by one. This is the best time for our brilliant minds to come together, get the true gospel, and free themselves. I don't believe in this whole, we have to fold our hands and do nothing and just hope. We cannot give the next generation just hope.
No,
it will not
give
work.
Hope to the next generation. We have to give them something more substantial, something real, something touchable, something they can hold.
Exactly. Exactly. So this foolishness is God exists, God doesn't exist. That's not the point. The point is God gave all of us brain. Why are we not using it? We have good IQ in that country on a national level. Nigeria's IQ are good.
I know.
Why don't we channel this IQ
even on the international level as well? Like
exactly. Our best brains are turning into prayer warriors. Does that make any sense? It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. So whenever I try to call, especially when people try to lie about this, so let's keep on doing this. We've been doing the same thing for hundreds of years, and it has not worked. Why do we want to keep up doing the same thing? So that's my 2 cents. Thank you very much.
I love that ending. Why do we want to continue to do the same thing, expecting a different result? Why? Brother, thank you so much, okay, for dropping by, right? You have a good one yourself, okay? Good night. People have shared their mind. Somehow, we've had people who have clashed with their own experiences and all that. Above it all, everybody has managed to probably pick one or two things from this whole night. And if you're one of those who are managed to pick one or two things that you believe are never going to make your life remain the same, talking about information that you probably feel so much better to be aware of today, okay? And there are those who pick more than just two things. There are those who pick loads. And it is until after this broadcast that they'll begin to now reflect on everything they have heard on this platform tonight. You are likely one of them too. So I'll let you go, and I will see you some other time. So to everybody who kind of was here tonight, thank you. To all my donors who are supporting my studio project, okay, thank you as well. I just don't know how or when I am going to do a live fundraiser, but I can promise you one thing: we will do that before the February 1st, or what have you. Thank you to all of you kind of who shared this broadcast as advised. Thank you. I could say thank you all night. So I'll just leave it at that and tell all of us to have a very wonderful evening and a very, very wonderful, wonderful night. Good night from here. And tell them, freedom man, Nnamdi Kanu. At least, you know what I mean? Like, free the man who has done nothing. And if you're assassinating by any means, now we know who to hold responsible. So you all have a wonderful night. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Naheebah number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ̀lú ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.